Annette is a new musical drama that had a limited release in theaters and is now coming to Amazon Prime. It premiered as the opening film for the Cannes Film Festival, but is it worth the watch? A stand-up comedian and his opera singer wife have a 2-year-old daughter with a surprising gift. This stars Adam Driver and Marion Cotillard and is a rock opera that was written by Ron and Russell Mael, better known as the Sparks. Okay, this is a bizarre movie. We watch a passionate and even dysfunctional romantic relationship between a stand-up comedian played by Driver and an opera star played by Cotillard. While the story does give some prominence to Cotillard, the main focus of the narrative follows Driver. We watch his stand-up routines where he interacts with the audience and they seem to be part of the performance. The interaction between Driver and the audience is odd, almost like participatory performance art. In one sequence, the audience responds to Driver's jokes and his setups almost like they're ultra fans who have seen his show thousands of times and know it all by heart. The first time it happened, I was trying to figure out what was really going on, but ultimately decided that we're just hearing Driver's inner thoughts as the audience sings back to him. And whether it's what he wants to hear or it's the responses he has received in the past, all of it works to stroke his ego. Driver is over the top and fully invested in his performance during the entire movie. And I wouldn't really classify him as sympathetic or even a character that has positive charisma, but he certainly is a considerable presence in every scene that he's in. Now, Driver and Cotillard have a child, and the visuals for their daughter are very intriguing. The way the film represents her on screen works to illustrate how Driver truly sees her. And I really do appreciate the commentary that is attached there. It looks at not only fatherhood, but also how an already famous person sees their offspring and the potentiality attached. Driver isn't what I'd classify as a loving father either, but instead I saw him as a man consumed with fame and acceptance. There's almost an exploitative feel to portions of the story, especially in the last act of the film, which I believe is the point. This story is dark, unsettling, and even creepy at times, and I personally found it rather depressing. It's also very stressful to watch this. There's an unraveling of nerves that just got under my skin, and it created a large sense of anxiety and discomfort. And I think some of that is due to the uniqueness of the story, but a large portion also comes from Driver. Now, the cinematography is spectacularly executed. There are several very long and continuous takes that work to really draw us into whatever is happening on screen. There is a scene with a conductor who's giving a monologue during a rehearsal. As he directs, the camera just spins around him in a continuous take, and it is simply stunning. And I was spellbound as it occurred because he gave his lines and then break with an excuse me as he directs a particularly emotional moment of the song and then went right back to speaking to the camera. It was emotive and compelling. Now, like I said before, this is a rock opera and I can see how this could develop a cult following. It's quirky enough with the great acting, but I don't think all of the songs have great hooks, which helps them with being memorable. While it could have a cult following, I don't see it reaching the level of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And while not all of the songs have great hooks, there are some that did resonate and connect with me, even if it was only during that performance. The songs paired well with the scenes, and I am impressed at Driver's voice. It's not polished, and sometimes he was doing more of that sing-speak type of delivery, but he still went for it, and he gave it his all. Cotillard has a beautiful voice with impressive range, and she captures the opera vibe perfectly. It's risky that all of the songs are captured live, especially given one scene in particular, but they pulled it off with great form. Now, the last song between Driver and his on-screen daughter Annette is haunting. It was definitely melancholy and effective. I don't think this movie is going to resonate with everybody. The filmmakers take a chance and they craft a unique film that screams art house, but also contains characteristics that are going to entrance and develop a small, if not strong, following. The story takes 2 hours and 21 minutes to tell, and for me it was just too long, and it lingered too long in certain spots. Scenes with Driver's stand-up routine felt longer than necessary, and it didn't keep the story flowing. The latter half of the film did pick up the pace, and I actually enjoyed it more, even though the entire thing provided spectacles with varying engagement. Now, the good thing about this coming to Amazon Prime is that you can watch it in the comfort of your own home, and if you find you're not connecting, you can take a break and come back later if the mood strikes. While the visuals will be good to see on a large screen, because I had a hard time connecting with this on the whole, it's hard to recommend shelling out the cash to see it in the theater. Overall, Annette is a bold rock opera vision with some wonderful visuals, committed performances, and an original story. Unfortunately, not everything is engaging, and the story does take too long to execute. I think it does have some relatable messages within, but the pace and storytelling work against the messaging to make the delivery hard to embrace. There is sex, nudity, a ton of profanity, and some violence. I give Annette 2.5 out of 5 couches. Have you been looking forward to seeing this one? I'd love to know what you thought of it if you check it out. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.